Good evening, everyone. It is Monday night. The final word on the weekend's action is, of course, extra time with us tonight. We're glad for you to be joining it. It is episode 432, would you believe, of the Always Wolves podcast as well. We've got a great couple of guests lined up to be joining us to talk through all of that. We're going to be looking at the game of the weekend, man of the match performance rating, talking points from the game. We're going to also be talking about Matheus coming back into the team after his ban, looking at chatting about Vitor Pereira, the job he's doing, and of course going to the pub. We'll be doing a Route 101, and this will be about a band or a singer tonight that we could get rid of from history. We'll be looking ahead to Manchester United, and then we're doing a Q&A at the end. I'm delighted to bring back the happiest man on the planet, the official member of the Ryan Ait-Nouri fan club, the founding member and chairman of that club. It is Cheerful Chris. Hi, mate. How you doing?
Hello, Dave. Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm really, really good, mate. And great to have you on again today. We've got a similar back. If I turn my backdrop there, look, there's that.
Yeah.
Oh, if I'd have gone that way, people would have seen. Think we were in the same room.
It is blinds. I'm not in prison.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, glad to have you joining us tonight, Chris. We're also delighted to be welcoming back onto the show tonight the Lord himself, Lord Jason Guy. How you doing, mate?
4 on the bounce. Absolutely living the dream. Unbelievable. It was just such a great day yesterday, Dave. I know we can talk all about it now, but to win 4 on the bounce when we were seemingly gone is just incredible.
First time we've won 4 games in a row in the top flight since, I think, 1972.
Do you know what, Dave? Unbelievable yesterday, honestly. I know we've got so much to talk about, so I'm keen to get stuck into it, as is Chris.
We've got loads to talk about. First of all, I do want to say a massive big thank you, of course, to Creation Wolf, as always, for powering tonight's show. They deliver the industry's latest and most advanced digital solutions. If you've got a company or a business, they'll help take your brand, online presence, and digital capabilities to the next level. You can find them in the link below on creationwolf.com. If you want to phone in on tonight's show as well, you have to be a YouTube subscriber. The links are in the description if you want to come on. But we've got so much to talk about tonight. Before we get started with the boys, we've got the first of our callers that have got in touch with us, Wolfman Jeff from the USA. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, Dave. Wolfman Jeff here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, today's a match. I think the main word I'd use is comfortable. And I think it was a comfortable win. I really didn't feel like we were going to lose, even when Tottenham was starting to come back. It was a combination of, I knew we were in decent form and we were playing well and continuing with that. And not to take out what our team did, but Tottenham was very poor today. And so the first 90 seconds, we got in there and we had Ryan Ait-Nouri with his great goal. And it just seemed to knock Tottenham back a bit. And they struggled to get back into it. It's always good to get the lead. And it's even better to get it early because it really sets a tone. Then the own goal, which looked like Keystone Cops. It was just ridiculous. And we'll totally take it. And you could tell that Tottenham was really off their match. And then coming back into it, you've got they equalized. And that was, I still didn't feel like when they scored that we were too much in a threat. It was disappointing, but I think we still felt like, I felt like we were still in charge. Strand Larson, he got his goal, and he's done so well. I know we were very concerned with Cunha out, who's going to score the goals. The answer was Strand Larson, and so that was fantastic. Tottenham scored again, and that looked like that could have been stopped. But still, even though they were coming back, I personally didn't feel like we were going to lose this match. I didn't even feel like we were going to have a draw, just because I felt like our mindset was to get back into it. Yeah, it threw us off for a little bit, but not for very long. Then you saw the Cunha goal. And I know there was a lot of emotion. It had to be a lot of emotion there in Molineux about Cunha's return and some of his comments he's made recently on social media. But from what I could see, it looks like he was sending a message saying that, hey, I care about this badge. I love this badge, and that's for this badge. So it's kind of an apology for the fans, and it was accepted. So we went getting in a comfortable 4-2. We move ahead of West Ham, and so that's really good. Our next match is against Man United, and in the past, you'd be a little more concerned. Bring it. I'm not worried about Man United at all. So I think we're in a comfortable spot. I think we're playing well, and let's just keep that momentum. Hey, Dave, thank you for these videos, man. Always Wolves.
Always great to hear from the Wolfman himself, Jason. Let's kick off with you, Jason. We've got more people that are sending videos in and callers coming through. We'll put through later on in the show. But, Jag, like you said at the start, it's like, what a transformation under Vitor Pereira, mate. 4 games in a row. First time we've done that in the top flight since 72. 4 goals at home as well. I mean, talk to me about what stood out, what's standing out for you over the last few weeks and yesterday.
I mean, firstly, Jeff Shee, I put a post on Twitter earlier that Jeff Shee's a forgotten man now, because everything that goes on the pitch, and I maintain this, everything that goes on the pitch dictates everything what goes off it. We win 4 games on the bounce. The manager's in the boozer. Everyone's chipping in with goals, and all of a sudden, nobody mentions Jeff Shee, which is good for the club. And it's now just so much more positive vibe for everyone on social media, obviously at the game. And the fans really got behind them yesterday, because we have been quite quiet, but 4 wins on the bounce. Please do not underestimate that, by the way. And we went such a great start with Ran with that goal. I mean, the way Tottenham set up, I don't want to take any credit off Wolves, by the way, but the way Tottenham set up that goal, from where I was sitting, you could just see the gaps. But listen, obviously, Ran got his goal. Then there was the own goal, which particular credit as well to Jürgen Strand-Larsen, who put the pressure on that defender to obviously make that mistake. And then he got his goal. And what a signing he's been. Social media, when I've been on Twitter recently and people have been berating Strand-Larsen, I can't understand it. His goal output for a nigh on relegation threatened team all season, his goal output's brilliant. His positioning's brilliant. All he needed was obviously balls into the box. All he needed was that support, and he's got it. And he's proved what a great striker he'll be. I think if we can kick on next season, we could look at 15, 20 goals out of him. And I said comfortably, he's the best centre forward we've had since Raul. And Raul obviously was the best one since Bully.
Jason, on that, actually, Jürgen Strand-Larsen as the best shots actually on target ratio than anyone in the Premier League. I think what Bully said when he met him, you just need to shoot more. And also, Raul in his first season got 13 goals. Strand-Larsen's now on 12, and there's 6 games to go.
There you go. So I think he's going to match that. Bearing in mind as well, he's been injured as well, Dave. So he's had a few games out injured. And with Cunha, listen, I don't know who advises these players sometimes, but you're best to say nothing. And look, he's gone on Instagram. He's realised as soon as he's put it on that he's made a mistake. He shouldn't have put what he put, and he's deleted it. But social media is so unforgiving. You've only got to leave it on for 10 seconds.
We're going to come on to Cunha as a separate thing. So we'll have a little. I know a few people are wanting to have a chat about that. So we'll do a little bit of a segment on that. We'll all have our little views on that. So just park that for a second.
Yeah. But for him to get his goal was obviously so important as well. Bearing in mind, he's been out the team. He's obviously been suspended, and he just comes in, and it's like he's never been out the team, which is great. I was disappointed really with the Spurs manager's comments after the game, saying that they controlled the game. They look so good going forward.
They had a decent period in the first half.
Yeah,
about 10 or 15 minutes. We were just soaking it up, really. They never really created much. other than that one shot that Saul did with a really good save.
Yeah.
And then obviously, second half, they actually scored against the run of play. We were so dominant in that first 20 minutes in the second half.
Listen, like I said, I am not going to take any credit off Wolves, but you've got to be, Spurs were poor, the way they're set up. I mean, you look at the press that Wolves did, and it really put them under pressure. And what it did, it caved Spurs into making a series of mistakes. And not only that, they then continued to play out from the back. The goalkeeper, who looked terrified all game, every time the ball come to him, he was just completely void of any confidence. And I can't understand why teams, without going on to Spurs here, but I can't understand why teams, when they're low on confidence, when they're shipping 2 or 3 goals in a game, why they still continue to play from the back. A couple of their goals yesterday was completely avoidable. I still think we'd have won the game because it was by far the better team, but a couple of their goals was completely avoidable. So I can't understand the need to keep playing from the back. But like I said, one player I do want to really call out is Jörg Strand-Larsen. I think he's been incredible this season. I think he's got some really unfair criticism, but equally, I think he's making a lot of people eat their words now.
Well, we've got a message on the on screen right now from Alan Taylor. He says, Jason, I'll be honest, I gave Larson some stick early on, but got to hold my hand up. He's playing like a proper centre forward now. Chris, over to you, mate. What's your thoughts? What's your takeaways? We've talked a lot in recent weeks. A great performance yesterday, but I'm sure there's a few things that you'd like to pick out.
I thought it was a good performance yesterday against a very, very poor side. I agree with Jason. I actually don't think Big Ange is a Premier League level manager, and I think every time he sends a team out each week, he does his best to prove why he isn't. That team that we played yesterday, I think it's the worst team that's been at Wolves this season. I can't think of a team that was worse than them. They had no real pattern of play. I mean, you mentioned the shot that Sarr saved. If he reckons they played all right and played well, I'd hate to see what their bad performances are like, because I don't know where he was looking. I mean, if playing right is managing to get the ball out from the keeper to the fullback and maybe to the winger and then back to the fullback, great. But they never put us under any pressure at all, really. The 2 goals, he bemoaned the goals on the TV, actually, saying he gave them. Well, we pretty much gave them the goals that they scored, to be fair. They were 2 lapses in defensive cover from us, really. First one.
I think you're right there. I think Vitor Pereira would be very disappointed. I mean, Semedo has been fantastic. When that ball came across, I thought he was in front of the man, and I mean, it's a rare. He's been really good.
He just got his feet tied up, but the main contributor to that goal, unfortunately, and we'll get on to him in a bit, I imagine, was Aït-Nouri. But because he lost his man and never came back, and they broke down that wing into the space. That was the only mistake he made yesterday, though, because he had a great game. And then the second goal, it was just a bit of slack marking again. I think it was Bueno didn't pick the bloke up on the header, and
I saw tipped it onto the bar. It was a good save actually from Saar, but of course it was scrambled over by Richarlison into the back of the net.
Yeah,
I mean, on Ryan Aït-Nouri, I know you're not his biggest fan, because I laughed and I am, saying that you're the chairman of his fan club and stuff like that. And you played that position, Chris, so you watch it very, very closely anyway. But he scored a good goal.
It was a miss it though, Dave. He missed the ball.
2 assists.
Wasn't a great strike. He bloody missed it but it went in great.
How many goals do you see like that where they hit it into the ground and it loops over?
Just on that corner, I was sat and I was looking, as you know, it was right in front of us, wasn't it? And I was sat there looking. There was Aït-Nouri, edge of the box, João Gomez, edge of the box. Everybody on Tottenham was on the 6-yard line, and I was thinking,
so much space.
Why don't we put the ball in and head it back?
Yeah.
Those two guys can get on the end of it, and then actually they headed it straight to us, and we.
Well, they picked that up on Match of the Day, didn't they? They were talking about defending that. They didn't. You have to at least leave one player back in between the two. So and there was just, I mean, he hit it first time. It was, we know that.
I'm only jesting. It was a great,
he's got great technical
hit it the way he should do. Yeah, probably hit it the way he should do to score. To be fair, into the ground and up. And no, I thought. Yesterday was a great performance from us. It's a side full of confidence. You can see that sometimes when we get the ball and knock it about, these teams against us at the moment are chasing shadows. The two lads in midfield are dominating the games, and we need to be building next year's squad around those two lads, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, my feeling is, the players are probably going to go the one player, and I think I said it in our fan reaction right after the game. The one player, Cunha might go, Ryan might go, Sarabia is almost certainly, well, definitely going to go. Semedo, that talks about a contract for him. But Jason, for me, Joe Gomez, no money, should be able to buy that player next in the summer, because him and if we've got with them, I'd say we'll be up there with potentially the best midfield in the league.
Absolutely. Listen, under Gary O'Neill, we were 100% going down. Make no mistake, 100% we were going down. Now, since Pereira's took over, whatever he said to him, whatever he's done in that dressing room, whatever he's done on that training field, it's seriously sinking in. We had a team capable of doing more than we've done this season, and we've massively underachieved, but that's going back to the tenure under Gary O'Neill. So this is why it looks like a different team under Pereira. Realistically, the players aren't any different, but they're just playing differently. They're playing to their potential. They're playing better. They're fearless. They're playing with massive confidence. And as we all know, football is a massive, massive confidence game. And you look at Spurs yesterday, when it all started going wrong, that confidence depleted. They stopped playing for their manager, and Wolves now look a completely different side. With regards to the midfield, they're two players we've got to keep. Cunha's gone. I'd imagine Ryan Aitnouri's gone. There's obviously going to be a couple more outgoings, Sarabia with his wages, etc. Gomez, if they're going to bring in 30, 40 million for Ryan Aitnouri, 60 million for Cunha, that's going to get the best part of 100 million, plus whatever Silva goes for, plus whatever Sarabia, etc. It's very important that they don't sell Gomez, because he's so important in that spine. Him and Andre work so well together, so well together. So we can't break that partnership.
It seems to be like a real telepathy and how they complement. You're nodding there, Chris, along with Jason on that.
Yeah,
on that.
Yeah, they are. They're almost like two magnets. They're doing this. They're playing, moving off. Again, the other reason that's happening, I think, is because Manetzi is playing further forward and doing that forward running, so they can concentrate on getting the ball, distribute it, tackle, win the ball, tackle. They aren't trying to bust forward. I know Joe still goes forward every now and again, but Manetzi again, he's been a very important signing for us. He's unlocked a way of playing for our team.
He's got an engine on him as well. He never stops running. And I think he does set the tone. I mean, one of the things I was really impressed with, and my dad and Stan, we always got about the energy and about the fight, the press, the way they press, and the way they were hunting them down and forcing a side like Tottenham that like to try and play through. But also, Chris and Jason, what you also saw where they did it long when we needed to as well. They were looking for the high line, and then they'd hit it, and they get knocked down and pick it up.
They'd identified, you could tell pre-match, they'd identified Jed Spence as a weakness, but the ball's behind him, because they pushed Semedo right on him for the first 15, 20 minutes, and that when we were getting all of our success, really. He was very poor, and he looked when he was when he was in the Championship and before he went to Spurs, he looked a really good player, Jed Spence, but he looked absolute dross yesterday.
Yeah, and like obviously we've done an article actually, guys, and I should mention this. And a really good article that's gone. I mean, there's loads of articles goes on the Always Wolves website. You know, the things learnt, match report, player ratings, all of that is on there. And there's some good deep dive articles, but there's a good one that's gone on today, which I think is a really good point, which is basically takes a look at the table since Pereira was appointed, but it also talks about the media assessment of Wolves, about, you know, watch match of the day last night. It's all about Tottenham. Yeah, you know, there doesn't seem to be any real credit that's been given to Pereira for what he's done. And if you look at the table since Pereira came in on this article that's been done by Emma, and our producer, you can see since the 19th to the 12th, when Pereira's come in, Wolves would be 8th in the table, literally 3 points from a Champions League space. That's how good our form has been. And like, if you take the last 5 or 6 games, we're probably even higher than that. So I'd recommend everyone go and bookmark alwayswolves.co.uk, because it's free to read. Some really good articles on there, and that's a really good analyst. But Jason, do you think that Pereira in the national media, I'm not saying the local media, the national media, what Wolves have done, you know, don't seem to be getting enough credit for what he's done, because it always seems the other teams played bad?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been in a relegation scrap all season, and we probably did, well, come Christmas and January, look the most likely to get out of it. And that's why we've probably gone under the radar a little bit, because of like I said, you know, we did look most likely to get out of it. But listen, the credit that we've got to give to him is just, you know, immeasurable. Like, I've seen some comments as well about Agbadou. The 2 people that have changed our fortunes this season have been, for me, Agbadou and Pereira. Agbadou's come in and he's been incredible. And we've really missed a solid centre half. And he's come in, he's marshalled that defence. He's, you know, we haven't.
You see him doing it when he's going to go, pushing them forward.
You can see it, you know, and the other players in the team look better around him as well, i.e. Totti. Totti, for me, I've always said he looks like he's got a mistake in him. He doesn't look like that anymore, because he just looks better with Agbadou shepherding that defence. Now, that brings me on to my point about, as soon as Craig Dawson got bombed out, we was all a bit, you know, we was all a bit, well, you know, has he really done anything wrong? It's proved to be the absolute bang-on right decision. It was a big call he had to make. He made it. And, you know, I'm quite sad for Craig Dawson, because he hasn't really done anything wrong. However, it's proven that under, you know, with Agbadou, the defence looks just so much better. With Pereira, it's just been incredible. So, you know, Jeff Shee, he's got to back him next season, because otherwise we might as well bin him off and just get another manager. We've got to back him. We've got to give him some money, and he's got to go, you know, I'm sure we'll spend it wisely. You look at that Manetzi, once again, Manetzi, what a player, you know, and he's not the most skillful, but the job he's doing, the job Pereira is giving him to do, he's doing really, really well. A point you made as well about Agbadou and his passing, we was trying long balls as well. That's one of Agbadou's strengths. And before he come to the club, I did a bit of research on him, and he has got an eye for a 40, 50-yard cross pass. And to be honest,
saw that yesterday as well, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And you know what? He wants a hell of a player. So once again, these players, and we've got to make sure we sign. I think, what's the deal with Strand Larsen, where with the option to buy? Is it
automatic?
Happen automatic. 23 million in the summer. That'll be triggered.
No, but I mean, once again, and that is an absolute snip. By the way, we've nicked him for that, because he's coming to the Premier League. He could have struggled, and look at him. So next season, I'm expecting, you know what? If we can be mid-table or above, you've got to expect 20 goals out of him.
Absolutely. We've got another caller that's just called in. It's young Scott. He's going to have a couple of minutes on screen now. We've got a young lad coming on. He wants to make a point. So, as again, guys, if you do want to come on and have a couple of minutes with me, Jason, and Chris, the link's in there, and you can phone through. So here's Scott. Welcome to the show, Scott. What points would you like to make?
I think the first one is something you just mentioned briefly, just credit, because people say you've got to give credit where it's due. I haven't seen any from like the media. It's always the bigger teams that always get the more respect in a sort of way.
Absolutely, mate. And I think most of us that watched Match of the Day last night. Kelly Summers said at the start, who was hosting it last night, about the 4 thing, but then the analysts really just talked about Spurs and their mistakes rather than what we were doing well and what Vitor, and that's okay, but I think there needs to be a lot of credit because Vitor Pereira has taken a team that was falling apart at the seams, visibly falling apart at the seams, has made some tough calls. He's come in like what Jason said with Dawson, Lamina, all of these sort of things, has come in, and he always comes to the press conferences. When you see his press conferences, he's got a smile on his face. It's not blooming beige like it was under Gary O'Neill. He's fully committed. He's just done his 600th game. He's worked his entire career to get to here, and you can see that this guy is living and breathing Wolves to make us better. And you can see the aftermath in the changing room, the way that they're together going up to the crowd in the South Bank and the North Bank, the way he talks, the way he gets the fans. And he's got, what Premier League manager goes into the pubs after? It just seems to be really tapping into the fan base, to Wolverhampton, to what it means to be a fan. And the fans are really, it's really resonating. And I think he's resonating with the players as well. And they believe him, don't they, Scott?
Yeah. Well, he's come, as you said, he's come in, sorted a club out from an awful state, what Gary O'Neill left us in. And it's just like, it's just like everyone's expecting it as a regular, or the media are saying it's a regular thing. Like, it's not regular. What other manager has really done something what Pereira's done?
Fantastic. And Scott, any more points that you would like to make whilst we've got you on the screen for Jason or Chris to consider?
I'm still just wondering really one thing. Obviously, Cunha said his thing on the Instagram post and on a media talk, and then he's come back into the team and then started pointing at his badge, saying that he loves the club. What does he love the club, or does he want to leave?
Well, I think we're going to talk about that in a little bit once we've got through the game, and I think we'll have a little bit of a discussion about that. But
good point there.
Yes, a very good point. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts, personally, I think he's done what Noni Madueke did at the start of the season when he said everything about this place is a word I can't say. But he said something bad about Wolves and then said it was a mistake. I think Cunha's done the exact same thing. Wait until people have called him out on it, then said it's a mistake.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Scott. And thank you for coming on again today. Much appreciate a young lad coming on and giving his thoughts. Well done, Scott.
Well done, Scott. Well done, buddy.
Anytime.
So that's Scott that was coming on there. Some really, really good points. Now,
Dave,
I
think I've got to say something about Pereira. It is obviously he's the manager, but we mustn't lose sight of the fact that he brought a team of people with him.
Yeah.
And if you go to them and watch them train, you watch the structure of their pre-match training, the preparation, the assistant manager. I mean, look, under Gary O'Neill, we had Sean Derry. I watched.
It was all botched together, wasn't it? Really,
I watched Sean Derry.
I'd rather have Mary Berry.
I watched him as a footballer. He had no skill whatsoever. He was just a clogger. And the only thing he did, really, I think, was fall out with players and want to fight them, which is true to type with him. So we've gone from that to astute people who work as part of a team that know what they're doing. And yes, it's Vitor Pereira, but it's his team as well. We've got to give them credit.
Yeah,
Mate,
good point.
Do you know what? Absolutely right. And Pereira talks about that. He's brought a team. They all know their job. You see them on the touchline, the way they are together. It's just, we've had, let's face it, we've had so much pain this year. We've had so much stress. And here we are, 6 games to go. I mean, we are safe.
Dave, we could still go down,
99.9%, I think, safe, according to Opta. Leicester are 17 points behind with 18 points to play for. I think Ipswich are 14 points.
Ipswich could have won Saturday. It wouldn't have made a difference.
No, absolutely
difference.
It wouldn't have made
they've got to win. They've got to pretty much win all the games. So it wouldn't make a difference anyway. But no,
I think
we've been
whatever
safe for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just ask you, Jason, your Lima Windows man of the match and your Fox at Shipley performance rating, mate. What you going for?
So my Lima Windows man of the match is a player that I'm just really impressed with, and I just sing his praises all the time. Strand Larsen. I just think his work on the ball, off the ball, the way he pressures the defence, the way he leads the press. Also, he plays with a smile on his face as well, and he's got a lot of confidence. And, before he come to the club, I'd heard some great things about him, but he's just proving what a good player he is now. Bearing in mind, it's his first season in the English Premier League, one of the toughest league in the world, and he's smashing it in a team, like I said, that have been playing in the bottom 4 all season. So, massive credit team. So, he's my man of the match. My Fox at Shipley performance rating is 8.5 out of 10. I would have given it 9.5 out of 10, but Spurs were just... Chris is right. Spurs were the worst team I've seen down here this season. They were absolutely shocking. I mean, yes, the manager has got to take the flak, and he's the one at the spearhead of it. But those players are an absolute disgrace. Some of their decision-making was shocking. Anyway, so 8.5 out of 10. And the moment of the day for me... Yeah.
Your Parkside moment in the day.
He's Pereira going into the pubs. Now, this is absolutely unprecedented. No manager at this club has ever done what he's done. Yes, Nuno went down to that flipping curry house in Belston a few times, which for our friends of the channel. And, Nuno was brilliant with the fans, by the way. But, he wouldn't just rock up in the moon underwater in town. What I'm saying is it's completely unprecedented. He's just going into pubs in town, but it just shows that he is a man of the people. He doesn't feel he's too big for the club. He doesn't feel that, he can't associate himself with the fans. He's just being himself. He's working hard, and equally he's playing hard. And you know what? That will never... I mean, look at Gary O'Neill. What would he do? What was he drinking? 20 cups of tea a day?
Mate, Gary O'Neill will be back home. Gary O'Neill will be back home by the time Vitor Pereira was going out. He'll be going back home.
Was getting on the train after training, going home back to wherever he lived, Kent or whatever. Anyway, but he was out of it. But Pereira is making it his home. Bearing in mind, these managers, these coaches that come from abroad are making massive, massive commitments. Pep Guardiola's just got divorced because of the commitment he put to Man City and the game. And Pereira, look at the commitment he's putting in. Chris, what a great point. VP's getting all the credit, of course he is. But then it's that team around him. It's the defensive coach, the goalkeeper coach. They're all playing a massive, massive part. Jose Sarr looks like a new keeper under Pereira. He's playing with so much more confidence. No one's bothered about Sam Johnston anymore. So for me, Pereira going into the pubs in Wolverhampton, the Gifford the other night. I haven't been in the Gifford for 20 years. It's an absolute flipping death pit. And now he's drinking out of flipping drip trays in the flipping moon underwater.
I'll tell you what, Nuno was very, very, very special to this club. Nuno, he was humble. He got it. You see what he's doing at Forest. And we also got some great catchphrases. Dreaming is for free. But first the points and then the points.
Listen, with Nuno, Dave, right? Once again, you know what? We never thought we was going to get anyone who could even make us feel like the way we did. Especially we had which I like Lopetegui, but and then we've had Gary, and you just think, you know, and we was always harboring about what we've lost, harboring about the past, you know, thinking about that ex. We're not doing it anymore, Dave.
Do you know what? Pereira. That's exactly the line. Thinking about your ex, and no one matches up. And Vitor Pereira. I know it's very, very early days because Nuno did a lot over a long period of time, but the signs are incredible.
Listen, and Nuno was a man of the people. You know, obviously we know some of the guys. You know, so good with the fans, so much time for the fans. Look what he did charitably for the city. So to have Pereira coming in, but,
exactly, he was a humble man.
But I have heard a bit of a secret. The reason he's drinking in the Gifford and the Moon underwater is because Jeff Shee's put him on a really, really poor contract. So he's only on 30 grand a year. He's just above minimum wage, and this is the reason why he's having to get to the Moon underwater for a cheeky pint.
Fantastic, Chris. Same to you. Moment of the day performance rating and man of the match.
So man of the match, I think Jason's right. Stan Larsen, I had my doubts about him, mainly in his hold-up play. He seems to have, maybe it was his injury that was stopping him, you know, going in full committing on and that sort of stuff. He seems to have turned that round. He's scoring. He's everything you want in centre forward at the moment. So he's got to be given credit. I've already mentioned João and Gomez and Andre in the midfield. We've mentioned Agbadou. We've mentioned Sarr. I mean, that's a sign of a team in confidence. We're talking about 6 players now on who could be man of the match. But I've got to give it to somebody who scored a goal and made a goal, really. So I've got to give it to, and you're going to be shocked by this, but to Aït-Nouri.
You give me this through gritted teeth?
No, because if you go back and check your records, I've given him man of the match before, and yeah, I'm giving it to Aït-Nouri.
Fair play, Chris. It
shows what you can do if you play a player in the right position.
Yeah,
and now he's got Totti, Agbadou, and Darko or Santi and that back three, and he hasn't got to worry all the time about his defensive duties, which he can't do. It takes that bit of his forward play away from his game because he's concentrating on not making the mistakes he's getting smashed for all the time when he goes in the dressing room, because he will be. He's a much different player. I still think we're going to sell him, and I want us to sell him because I think we can bring Bueno in there, and he'll be good for us next year. But I've got to give it to him. I've got to be fair to the lad. I can't ignore a performance like that and just pick somebody because I don't like him.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Thank you very
much. The match day rating, I can't get as excited about it as Jason. I can only really give it a 7.5, maybe an 8, and that's because we were playing what I think is a very, very poor side. Probably one of the worst sides I've seen. I think they're worse than Southampton, to be fair.
I'd agree.
I think that's one of the worst sides I've seen at Molineux for a long time. Tottenham Hotspur, they should call them Tottenham dog shit because they were awful. It really were. Dog shit. Yeah, but no, I just couldn't. So I think, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we still got to do what we did. So I'll give them an 8, I think.
Fantastic. Chris, we have
moment of the day. I think I've got to agree with Jason. It's lovely to see a manager connecting with the fan base. He's a man of the people. Last man of the people before that, Jason mentioned Nuno. Before that, our last man of the people was somebody that was 60 a couple of weeks ago. This club needs a man of the people. That's what we're all about. So I've got to give it to that. I mean, Banks' brewery are rubbing their hands. I think they're going to not close the brewery anymore because he's a massive boom for beer consumption in Wolverhampton Town Centre now. Everybody's going out to meet Vitor, and the beer's selling well. So
brilliant.
Maybe Jason can get him on his gin.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, we do have another caller that's come through, which is Chris. So I'm going to bring Chris on for a couple of minutes. And so please give everyone a warm welcome to Chris. I think he might be a first-time caller and he can make his points. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hello.
Is this your first time on?
It is.
Thank you for joining us, mate.
No problem.
What would you like to say, pal?
It was a great win. Four on the bounce. I think it was a good performance with the team. It was nice for the team to come together. There was a couple of mistakes. I mean, Jason's point of Jose saw he was much better last game. Like, he was much better the last game we played. His goal kicks were actually towards players and not like to the opposition. So that was great to see. I think, as you've all mentioned, it's nice to see Vitor Pereira going out and supporting the local businesses as well.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Wolves DSA, do you want to tell everyone what that means?
So we are the Disabled Supporters Association. I run all the social media for the Wolves DSA. So I do Facebook, I do the Facebook, the X, I do all that. So I'm getting invited to events. Sometimes I post like events and stuff as well.
And do you want to tell people a little bit more about the Wolves Disability?
So the DSA, we put on away travel for disabled members, as well as events. So we do like the dogs. We do the DSA day, which is we have the museum for a day, and people can look around the museum and sign up to become a member. What else we do?
Christmas party, Chris.
The Christmas party where we had Jason on as guest speaker, with all the ex-players, and it was really good. It was a really good event, the Christmas party.
Well, there's a load of people that are saying hello and wishing you well. That's absolutely fantastic because it really is.
I want to make a point as well, Dave. I want to make a point as well. It's brilliant what these guys do because it's independent from the club. You know, the club aren't funding this. The club aren't supporting it as such. It's independent from the club. So what these guys are doing are fantastic. And every time I go there, I'm humbled by some of the stories and some of these guys. So it's brilliant what they're doing. And it's so important that if someone has got a disability, whether it be a hidden disability, a physical disability, that they can be welcomed and that they can get the support off these guys. So a big round of applause for Chris, because brilliant what he's doing. Well
done,
doing.
Chris.
Thank you.
Loads of love for you. We've got over 400 people watching. The big thousand
wow.
Watch it back and listen to it on the podcast
Can
as well.
Can we keep this Chris and get rid of the other Chris, please, Dave? this Chris smells more than this Chris.
Yeah. Final thoughts, Chris? Anything you want? And you're a happy Wolves fan at the moment?
Very happy, very, very happy. I think we can beat Man United.
Why not, mate? Why not? We'll go level on points with them. I think if we, I don't know how many we've got to beat them by because they lost 4-1. I think if we win 4-0, we might go above them on goal difference. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, 4-0 because I think it's 8 goal difference. So 4-0 swing will put us.
Here we are talking about going to Old Trafford, beating Man United 4-0.
Calm down. Look at it. We're going to beat Man United. Guys, just relax a bit.
We got Paul Harris here. He says he's been to 94 grounds in a wheelchair.
Brilliant.
Back access was rare.
Yeah. Wow. Brilliant. Because
and in the
clubs are more inclusive. Go on, sorry.
We was actually in the West Ham programme. If you've got a programme for West Ham, go to the middle pages and we're actually in that programme.
Fantastic,
Brilliant.
mate. Chris, thank you ever so much for coming on. And mate, how was your debut? You enjoyed it?
It was good, yeah. It was really good.
Fantastic. Keep up the great work. And anytime you want to jump on to make a point, that's fantastic. Thanks for joining us tonight, Chris.
No problem.
Cheers.
I'll tell you what, that was a better debut than Sam Johnston's.
It was, yeah. We've got some more. We've got some more reactions that have been sent in by video, guys. So we're going to put on Chris and Azia.
Yes, it's back. It's out quite a lot recently, except for last week when I toasted a victory over Ipswich with champagne. I was tempted to get the champagne out tonight, in all fairness. After the 4-2 victory over Tottenham at Molineux, and quite an interesting game, wasn't it, from the first minute? And look, it's not very often we score early. A day of things that don't normally happen to us. First, we score early. Never do that. And we score 4. And that's only the 4th time. Yeah, it was the 4th time in our Premier League history that we've done that. And also 4 wins in a row, which we've never done in the Premier League, and we haven't done in the top level of English football since 1972. Things are changing at this club. There's no doubt about it. And they're changing dramatically. I don't really know what to say about the game. We have so much energy. These players are unrecognisable from what we saw a few months ago under Gary O'Neill. Unrecognisable. I don't want to say all the things I've already said time after time after time, because, you know, I can talk about Vitor Pereira, I can talk about the 2 midfield, Agbadou, monster again, Strand Larsen, again, unrecognisable. And, you know, it had to happen, didn't it? It had to happen. Cunha comes on and scores. We knew it. It was always going to happen. Personally, I don't really care about what he says on social media so much. I really don't care. And I would say, actually, as well, just be a bit careful not to judge too much for someone who operates in a second language every day. There's a lot of pitfalls. I'd give him a bit of the slack and the benefit of the doubt for some of the things he says. He might not truly understand what he's saying. Anyway, man of the match today, I'm going to say Joe Gomez, closely followed by Ryan Aït-Nouri. Really good game, really enjoyable. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Hi everyone, here. So 4 goals, 4 wins in a row, the first time since 1970 something. 1972, if I don't remember that. Yeah, 1972, I'm pretty sure about it. Anyway, 16th position, we're getting away from the relegation zone, though we're not completely safe yet. We're waking up. It's the end of the season. We could have done that in like October, November, December would have been good as well, but it's April. Better late than never. At least we're not going down. 90% we're not going down. I have really nothing negative to say about today's match. I'd give it an 8.5, just maybe some defensive error from the lads, but not Sa, because he's most likely my man of the match. He did 3 fantastic saves, and yeah, he's definitely my man of the match. I'm really happy it ended like 4-2 and not 4-0, 5-0, because those kind of games are not entertaining. It means the other team is just compressed. With a 4-2, we played, they played, and it was much of a challenge, let's say. So head up, keep going on to the next one, which will be away at Old Trafford. I don't think it will be easy, though Manchester United is not doing good this year. It will, I think, pretty tough. Anyway, see you on the next one. Always Wolves.
Right, and we've got another couple of videos coming up shortly. I just want to say as well, we've had a couple of new members that have supported us and joined our private members group and become a channel member in the last day or two. So thanks ever so much for joining. If you're interested in supporting the channel by becoming a member, just click out the join button. And want to say welcome to the people that have jumped on our private Discord group today. So welcome to you guys. Now, we need to talk about Matheus Cunha, just because this guy, you know, the media are so interested in, because so many clubs are interested in him, because obviously he's had 2 suspensions, just come back from the 4th one. There's always, you know, if he puts something on Instagram, within 30 seconds, it's on the rest of the socials, even though he deleted stuff and what have you. People have been saying, we want to talk about it. I'll give you my thoughts in a minute, but like Jason, and then Chris, and then you guys in the chat, and anyone that wants to come on, if they want to come on and have a say about this, click the link in the description. You can come on and have you say, Jason, Matheus Cunha, where are you with him, and what's your thoughts and what on Matheus?
As we said, Dave, social media is a very unforgiving place. Listen, we can put stuff on, delete it, and whatever. If a footballer with the profile he's got puts something on for 10 seconds, it's going to have 100 screenshots minimum. 20 seconds, 1,000 screenshots. I don't know who advises these people sometimes, and social media is so important, as we know, to everyone's lives, and to these footballers, it's a chance for us to connect with them. So, you know what? He was clearly in doubt when he sent it because he deleted it a few seconds later or minutes, whatever. So he just shouldn't have. You know, there's no need to put anything negative on or positive on, and whichever way you put it, unless you hear it straight from him speaking, we're all going to misconstrue it. And that gentleman who just made a brilliant point about English not being his first language, so it can get misconstrued, and we can read into it however we want, and we can interpret it the way we want to see it. And this is the problem. And then he gets into a row with Dave Azzopardi. Listen, I like Dave. He's a good lad. He got into a row with Dave Azzopardi and talking Wolves. And there was no need for that to happen. And, you know, Dave, he's what they call Dave aggregators, where they get the stories and put them out there, you know, like always Wolves do. And, you know, and I'm sure you do all your fact checking, you do all your research before, and you put something out, and we've all got our opinion, and, you know, and Matheus Cunha has got the right to reply, but when English isn't your first language, there's no point getting into that row. And then all of a sudden it becomes a bit of a pile-on, and then people are giving Matheus Cunha some stick, and you think, listen, the lad doesn't deserve stick. Gary Poundland come up with a great point, in as much as, look, Matheus, we know you're going. We know you want to play for a bigger club. We know you want to win trophies, because Jeff Shee's told us we're not going to win trophies because it's not the club. But on a serious note, we know, we've accepted it. He's going in the summer. Great, no problem at all. Leave it now. Focus on your football. Focus on your job at Wolves. Finish on a high. Maybe if you don't leave with legendary status, you'll certainly leave a legacy, and us fans will be, you know, legend. There's only been a few the last few years. Ruben Neves, for example, you know, they're not, you can't keep churning out the word legend on players, but he could have left a massive legacy. And social media, like I said, it's unforgiving, and you can very quickly undo it with just a few wrong words. And it's a bit of a shame, really, but he then gets on the pitch, does his job, shows that he loves Wolves. And I've got a big problem with these badge kisses, Dave, because that is bullshit. We can use bullshit because Chris used Tottenham dog shit. I've got a big problem with these badge kisses, because they'll go to another club and kiss the badge again, and you think, come on. But listen, he said he loves the club after he scored his goal. I'm sure he does. And you know what? He's still doing his job. Let's get off his back. Let's let him enjoy it till the rest of the season. I'm 95% sure that the guy's leaving for many, many, many reasons. But let's all get behind him. And he's been pivotal this season in keeping us up, by the way. So, you know, he's done a great job. And one silly social media, because that was the thing. We was then all reactionary, and we reacted to it, and we piped up, and I put a post. I didn't put a negative post about him. I just basically said, you know, put your phone down. I've deleted that post, because when something happens like that, we all get reactionary to it. And you know what? It's done now. It's dusted. Let's get on with the rest of the season. Hopefully he'll start. But that's the thing. People are saying start against Man United. How can you get back in the team at the minute? You know, with Molineux, with Strand Larsen, the way they're playing. But listen, I'm still fully behind him, and look, it's water under the bridge for me.
Fantastic. I'll come back in a second on some of those points. Chris, your takes?
A little bit different to Jason. I mean, I think I'd be happy if he didn't play the rest of the season. Not because I've got a problem with him playing. I don't want us to lose out on him being sold because he gets a stupid needless injury. It's clear he's going. I haven't got any problem with anybody wanting to go on and better themselves and move on to bigger things. We need to accept that for the time being, the way the club is, the way the owners are, we're only ever really going to attract people to the club who want to see us as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of things. So I'm not bitter about him. I think he's I don't accept the language argument, second language argument. There's plenty of things nowadays that you can go on and translate what you want to say in the right way without getting it wrong. He's a grown boy. He's hot-headed Brazilian, and that's what's going on there. It doesn't help when your local newspaper tries its best to assassinate his character, as Nathan Jr.'s done at the end this weekend by saying that there was booze on the crowd when he came on the pitch. He must have had something in his ears because I didn't hear him. And I that's not the first time Liam Keane produced the bile that he produced previously, didn't he? When he we outed what he said in the chat in this channel because he said Cunha went up and out clapping the fans. There seems to be an agenda there. I don't know what that is. I don't expect that from the local newspaper. And it's no wonder the guy gets pissed off and fires off on social media when he gets a chance, because if your local newspaper's doing that, what chance have you got? So I don't expect him to feature massively towards the end of the season, because we have got to protect our investment there. That money that we're going to get for him is pivotal to us developing the squad and moving on in the summer. And I'd hate him to get a cruciate ligament injury in the last game in a needless challenge against Brentford and see us having to keep him on the bench all over the summer and the first part of the winter and sell him in a January window, because nobody will buy an injured player in this current climate. So I don't have much anger towards him. I understand his passion and his manner. I think he could stop and think a little bit and not post up, as Jason says, just put the bloody phone down. But he's a passionate guy, and he wants to put the record straight. And I do feel when you've got expression star putting things that are false, he feels the need to.
Mate, you make some really good points. I'm going to try and cover off all of those from my perspective and from a channel perspective. Now, fan channels, and also, a big reach like ourselves, Talking Wolves Fancast, all that, we're always looking for news, rumours. We try to report it for people to make their own judgments on and stuff like that. Cunha's a big news. Dave's really, really quick on the old Twitter. He doesn't miss a lot. And so obviously that goes out. Obviously, you put that post out there. I think it was something like, "I'll follow my dreams, not yours." Now, Wolves fans, the instant interpretation of that is he means his dreams? Does he mean he's not following our dreams as Wolves? Or did he mean something completely different, that it was a message about something completely out, but we've took it because we don't really know. And I think that's how it's got interpreted. Obviously, there's been that spat, but I'll defend Dave and any fan channels and stuff like that. If there's something out there and there's a rumor or there's a news story or there's something, it's going to get reported on because that's what we do. We try and provide content, information, entertainment, and opinion, and that's what fan channels are for. Now, obviously, Matheus has responded to that and it's got into a bit of a spat on Instagram. And I've met Matheus a couple of times, right? So, look, you make the point about the Express and Star. And I don't know what Nathan's said. Where did you get that from? Is it in the podcast he said that, Chris?
I think it was. I saw on Twitter somebody flagged it back and called him out on it. I think it was commentating during the game.
Well, yeah. So I don't know, because I was sat, as you know, in a different place. I was sat over in that area not far from where the press area, just the other side of the director's box, because we were in the post sheets for that game. And I thought he had a really good reception. In fact, the match vlog will be out tomorrow, and you can make your mind up. So I don't really know where the booings come from. You talk about how what's happened with Liam in the past when he basically went off the pitch and said he walked straight off the pitch. And fortunately, it was Craig that had been at that game, got the video, and I saw it the next day, and we put it out. And actually, Cunha had defended himself on Twitter that day, hadn't he, and got a lot of stick. And we fortunately had, from one of our team, had a video which we put out there for people to make their own mind up. And it actually proved what he was saying. So he doesn't like to be treated, doesn't like to be misconstrued, Matheus. I thought it was then a bit bad that Liam got a load of, he got some really nasty stuff, and that was never meant. We don't want anyone to get hate. But I can see what the point you mean, that he might think there's an agenda there. So he feels.
Well, I can't, Dave. I can't understand how somebody's at a game can say something's happened in written media that didn't happen, without saying there's an agenda, unless he's just gone to the toilet and made it up because he didn't see anyway. And these people get given press passes by the club. They're supposed to be, local journalists, and I just think it's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking North Street made a bit of a comment not long ago saying, I have to pass things by the club. Do you know what? I don't get any access. I don't get access to players. We don't get access to go to press conferences, because we're not an accredited journalist and stuff like that. We're just a fan channel. We don't get that level of access that, the mainstream media get, which we did, but we don't, and we'd like to keep our independence. The other thing I will say...
they're not mainstream media, are they, Dave? Let's face it. They're a local paper who don't really make a paper anymore and make people pay for their viewing through a paywall now. So they're not... I'm kind of done with them, to be honest.
Well, I don't want to get into that. Obviously, that's your thing. They're paid to do a job. They do the job. They do the things we want. We try to provide our content free for everyone, whether it's the website or here and give an opinion. But obviously, they're a professional newspaper, professional journalists, and I know Liam and I know Nathan, and I don't want to say anything bad about them. They get on and do what they do. We do what we do, and hopefully, people enjoy the content we create. The other thing I will say, I've met Cunha a couple of times. I met him at the foundation do. He was a real gentleman there, really nice chap. We've seen that Matheus did that, went and has done a lot of stuff for the community as well with the lad with the cancer. That seems to get missed. Obviously, he's reacted twice at matches, which isn't a good look. And then obviously he's put the stuff out of social. But I will want to make this point. I met him outside of a game on the way back from Fulham last year when he scored that wonder goal against Fulham. We were doing the reaction, and his family were there, and they were coming on behind and singing his name. And then we're always a bit late because we do the reaction and we do all our editing and stuff like that. And then we stopped at the services with Emma. And as we walked out the services, there was a van, and this van, the doors pulled past as we were going past, and it was his mum and his brother. And I was like, oh, we just saw you down at Fulham. And then Cunha pops his head out and goes, hello. And Matheus Cunha is in the van. He gets out the van, chatting away to him. We're saying, oh, yeah, you're Dave, like from Always Wolves and stuff like that. And we got the goal. And and he says, oh, can you airdrop me the goal? His brother or cousin was the one with the phone, not Cunha. I don't think that Matheus Cunha does all of his social media stuff. And a lot of the players, they have people that do these things for it. It's not always the player. So it might have been a misconstrued post that was put out by someone else or in his family. And then that's why don't put that up.
That's a massive row.
You know what I mean? So you don't actually we don't really know. So like all I know on that day when I was there, when the stuff was there, it wasn't him, Matheus, that was doing all the stuff. He said, I think it was because his brother does some of his social media for him. So sometimes things can get lost in translation there. So look, and I met him that day. It was a lovely, lovely chat. There's no excuse for the reactions that he did. He does need, in my opinion, to calm down a bit. But like what you said, if he feels that people are getting at him and he feels it's the only way for him to stick up for himself, then but all it does is create more things. So he went on the pitch at the weekend. He came on. The vast majority of the stadium gave him a really good reception. He put a shift in. He scored the goal. He went right up to the South Bank celebrating. Yeah, he was doing the badge and stuff. And like what Jason said, it's very easy for players to do that. He's in the dressing room afterwards, celebrating with the team. You know, you just got to get on with it. I just think he just probably needs to just not react and just do his talking on the football pitch. And as regards to the injury, I get what you're saying. But like I've said before in the past, he could get injured in training. So, you know, the question is, people will be looking at Matheus Cunha for 62.5 million. And there might be a couple of clubs that have think, do you know what? I'm not really sure because it might affect the balance of the squad.
That's the other negative, isn't it? From what keeps going on, it could have a detrimental effect to him. Yeah. You know, Mikel Arteta. You know, if people say Arsenal looking at him might go, might be a bit of a bad apple. We don't really want to bring him in here. And this is
for the fans that think there's a chance he might stay. When I said 95%, I'd go to 99% because, listen, if Wolves have got a chance to cash in on a player for 60-odd million quid, he's gone. You know, because we are a selling club. Whether we like it or not, we're a selling club. If Strand Larsen, we sign him for 23 million, he scores 20 goals next season or even 15, and we get offered 40 million for him once again, he's gone. You know, that's what we are, isn't it?
Well, I think, Jason, you know, if Gomez carries on the way he's playing towards the end of the season, next season, he'll be gone next summer. There'll be another one off the line.
There is absolutely this. I'll tell you this for a full fact now. People will accept Cunha going for 62.5 million. I think, you know, I mean, but there was a couple of 2 or 3 years running. We thought that Neves was going to go, and he never did. So you can never say never. You don't know what's going to happen. But like, I think everyone will accept Cunha going. Okay, 62.5 million.
The situation was different with Neves, and you know, he wanted to, you know, to stay at the club, and he's gone to Saudi Arabia or wherever he's gone, and he said that he's purely for financial reasons. Whereas I think with Cunha, I think he does want to win trophies, and you know, there's the money side to things as well. So I do think it's slightly different to the Neves argument. That's just
100%. All I'm saying is that there was a big expectation of 2 or 3 years that we thought Neves will go this summer. So my point is that everyone, I think, will accept Cunha going. I think everyone knows that Sarabia is going to go. I mean, Sarabia has done really well the last 2 or 3 weeks. He's given us some great moments. He's super talented, but he's the, you know, highest or was the highest paid player. They're going to get his wages off the book.
Yeah.
I think people will accept Ryan going to an extent. And I think most people would want Semedo to stop. And I think they're talking to Vitor Pereira. You know, he's been made captain. Semedo's someone who conducts himself in the right way. He puts himself away. He doesn't think he's been a great captain. He's had a step into doing this. He's got the responsibility. He probably will get offers to go to USA or to Saudi and stuff, but he's still going to get them offers probably in a couple of years' time. And if he can see under Vitor Pereira, you're going to be my captain, we're going places, we're going to pay you the money. If Wolves don't have to spend a few more million trying to bring in a replacement, we can keep Semedo. He's the one I think still might stop, hopefully. But if they sell Gomez or Andre, that's...
I don't think they'll sell them this summer, Dave, but I think the next summer they will.
Yeah, not this summer because you just can't.
No, they need to build a team around them this summer.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone... I'd be furious if they sell Gomez or Andre.
Everyone's got a price, Dave. If somebody comes and offers 110 million, he's gone.
And Dave, every one of them players is replaceable because when obviously Neves went, we never thought, you know, we haven't got anywhere near anyone like Ruben Neves, but we have got players now who we're proud of to be wearing the shirt, and we've got players that, you know, are some really good players. So every single player on that pitch is replaceable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you are right. If someone comes in with a stupid bid of ridiculous money, then that's gonna, you know, it's gonna have to be serious money. But Gomez has just signed the new contract. Wolves are in a very, very strong position in terms of that. Yerson Mosquera is going to be a player for us as well next season. I mean, I've got very high hopes for Hugo Bueno as well. You know, young Pedro Lima, Rodrigo Gomez. I love him. We've got, in my opinion, we've got so much potential. If they get the summer right this summer, we could be somewhere else. Because look at Leicester when they nearly went down. Look at Forest, they nearly went down. If you get momentum and build on it, you can achieve so many things. And for what we've waited 18 months plus for joy and for having a team that makes us proud. And right now we've got a team and a manager that's making all of us proud. And the board can't. I can't swear. I'm not allowed to swear on my own. They can't mess this up this time. They didn't back Nuno when he needed the money. Vitor Pereira is proving to be a man of the people. He gets the players. They're buying into him. He knows what he wants. I'm hoping that Hobbs, Jeff, Fosun, and they're all on the same page and they bring in the right players. And if we do that, the defence, the midfield, and we get the right forwards, we could be something else. I'm going to be bringing on now Noah and Dave before we move on to the final bit, and then Room 101 and then Q&A.
We're here from Monterey, California, so it ends Wolverhampton Wanderers 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2 at Molineux. A really good team performance today and a fantastic result for the lads. Tottenham, obviously, nowhere near at their best. Absolutely horrid defending for them. You know, but that's also a result of our pressure and our game plan and how we executed in this match. The first goal we scored, punched out by Vicario, who had a stinker of a day, by the way, falls to Aït-Nouri, finishes really well. Second goal, calamity at the back for Tottenham. Keystone Cops defending, and it's an own goal off of Tell. And then we did concede a very poor goal, in my opinion, in the second half. And it looked like Tottenham were maybe going to get back into it. But then Aït-Nouri robs Christian Romero right on the edge of the 18 and squares it across for Larson, who taps home to score in his fourth consecutive match for us. And then, once again, another poor goal to concede. Tottenham look like they're going to get back in it again. But once again, it's a great response. Matheus Cunha comes on. He was never missing that, was he? Robs Bergval in the middle of the park. And he did get a great reception from the fans, which is really good to see. You know, given all his shenanigans this past weekend. And so, yeah, if he scores goals for Wolves in his final 6 matches, because I'm fairly certain he's going to go, then you won't hear me complaining. You know, first time winning 4 matches in a row in the top flight since 1972 also means it's the first time winning 4 matches consecutively in the Premier League ever for us. Yeah, as I said, Larson, you know, scoring in his 4th consecutive match. First time out of the bottom 4 this season, up to 16th. We can really look up the table now. And the man of the match for me, it's tough, but I'm going to go João Gomez, and Aït-Nouri gets an honorable mention there. So yeah, anyways, enjoy the 3 points, everyone. Enjoy your week, and always Wolves.
Hey Dave Rainier Wolves here. Actually, I'm New England Wolves today. I'm hanging out with Matthew and the New England Wolves in Manchester, Connecticut. Took a little bit of a road trip for the Spurs match, and brilliant win. I had a good feeling because Spurs aren't really that good, and they've probably got one eye on the midweek match. And they definitely Spurs themselves several times today, right? But hey, we took advantage of it. So good performance from us. I think we lost a bit of focus a couple of times and let Spurs back into it. But good solid win. You always felt like we had some goals in us. Nice to get that early goal. And then, you know, typically Spurs second. And then, like I said, let them back into it, but then we scored again, let them back into it again, and then Cunha scored, which is brilliant. I think, I'm glad he went over to the supporters, and I'm glad he got a round of applause. I'm glad there wasn't any booing. His social media antics are unfortunate, but you know what? He's a good guy, he's a good player, and he's done a lot for us. So let's all be positive about that, shall we? The world doesn't need any more negativity, does it? Let's be honest. So anyway, we're above West Ham, move up a position, and pretty homing in on mathematical safety. But let's be honest, we're staying up, aren't we? So fantastic result and brilliant weekend, and we will see you against Man United next week. Cheers, Dave.
There's Dave. He's always out socialising. Is our Dave. Now, we're going to have a little bit of light-hearted before we come back looking ahead to Man United, and then we've got your Q&A, and this is Room 101, and this week we're asking Jason and Chris, and of course you guys in the chat, which band or singer from history would you put into Room 101? And that means that you have to make a case for it. Then we'll make a decision on if it goes into Room 101 forever or it stays out there forever. Chris or Jason, who would want to go first on that?
Chris can go first.
Go on, Chris.
Okay.
Bearing in mind, I'm going to call Chris out in a minute for the chat we had. The chat we had when the camera wasn't running.
It's very interesting because you can't put Joe Dolce. What's the matter, you? I can't believe that.
I love that. Well done, Chris. What's the matter?
Dave, you know I like music. I like generally all sorts of music, and I have very, very wide-ranging taste.
When Jason eventually runs his quiz night, which we have got to defend.
Yeah,
for the next one.
Good call, Dave. Good call.
That was good fun. That was. We're current champions on that.
I'll get another one of them. I'll do another one of them. They're good fun.
It was.
I mean, I really, really don't like Ed Sheeran. I don't like any of his music. But I'm not going to try and put him to one in the 101 because obviously there are going to be a lot of people in this channel that do like him, and he's very popular, and he's a younger fan base than me. So the person I'm going to put in is a singer, and has had songs in the charts, but is also on TV. It's the most talentless person I've seen. I cannot stand the woman. I can't stand anything that she does. Her voice goes right through me. She's on the telly quite often.
Mate, Beverly Knight's really good. Chris, what you on about?
I really don't like her, and I just think she's awful.
You're building this. You're building this.
It's that Jane McDonald.
Oh, Jane McDonald.
Who's Jane McDonald?
She just needs to go in the... I mean...
Did she do the cruise thing?
She used to go on a cruise ship, and I don't do cruises, but if I'd have been on that ship, I'd have thrown myself over the fucking side. I just can't be doing with her. And I won't watch anything or that she's on. And if ever she starts singing, she does a travel program now. I catch it every now and again. It drives me nuts.
Mate,
she's got to go in Room 101.
Well, I've got to make that decision, to be fair, Chris. But actually, I kind of think you're right. I think that she has got to go into Room 101. So you've been successful. Yeah. Been successful. And by the way, they're having an argument about Elvis. Elvis can't go in Room 101. My dad loves Elvis, The Wonder of You and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we've got a few coming up here. Spice Girls and stuff like that. Michael Bublé. They're all coming out now. Listen, so, yeah, she's in Room 101, Chris. Well done. Jason.
See, before the show, I said, right, I'll tell you who's got to go in there, Gary Glitter. And Chris turns around and goes, oh, I've got him on my playlist. No, don't admit to that. That's like me saying, yeah, I watch reruns of Virgin Will Fix It all the time. And then he went, I've met Jimmy Savile. What?
You haven't met Jimmy Savile.
Chris is laughing, everyone. Chris is smiling.
I have met Jimmy Savile in Glasgow. What's worse, I even asked him to come out for a pint with me.
Really?
Yeah, but nobody knew about Jimmy Savile, what Jimmy Savile was at that time. He was running a charity marathon, and he was there in his gold tracksuit. And he's from Blackburn, and the guy I was with, who was a soldier at the time, was from Blackburn, and that was it. We offered him out to go for a pint, but he wouldn't come. I'm glad he didn't now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
moving on. Go on, Jason.
I need to know now what the Gary Glitter song is in your playlist, Chris.
Yeah, we do need to know what Gary Glitter song is in your playlist.
It's Rock and Roll Part 2, I think.
Rock and Roll Part 2.
Right.
Jason will be adding it to his Spotify playlist.
I'm going to go completely left field here, and I don't think you're going to put it into 101, Dave, but I've just got to speak with honesty, and I'm not a big fan of it. I've never, ever got the hype of Oasis, personally.
Oasis.
Now, I know the chat's going to go boom, 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 because, I get, they're British and, but I've just never, ever got the hype. When they first come out, I was a teenager, never got it. Now, obviously, they're getting back together for a payday. Shock, because one of them's had a divorce. Some of the things they come out with on social media, sometimes a bit crass. So, and the music, a lot of it, it's a bit like Coldplay. It all sounds the same, in my opinion. I can only say what I see. I could have, said like Jedward and that, and I could have chucked some in, which would have definitely gone into Room 101.
Yeah, I think Jedward would have made it in there.
Oh, billion %. But for me, Oasis. Yeah, a good point. Beatles tribute. Yeah, good point. I know you can't put it in, Dave.
Some might say you're letting their profile get in front of their musical talent there, Jason. I did something there, but you won't know.
I'll tell you where I went into a cafe once, and they went soup of the day, so Oasis soup. And I went, what's that? They went, you get a roll with it.
Oh. Oh, that's really good. Now, look, mate, I think you make a very, very good case for Oasis on the back. I mean, the ticket fiasco with the dynamic pricing and ripping people off, and all of that.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, it is a good point, and I think they've been cashing in on people's loyalty. We know all about that, don't we? Cashing in on loyalty, but like they have done some good banging tracks, Wonderwall and all of that. So as much as I kind of get you, and I can't put them in. I just think they've given.
You into for Chris's gang? You want to be in Chris's gang?
Well, he's got Jane McDonald in there, so
I don't even know Jane McDonald is.
Well, you ain't gonna miss it, are you? Trust me, you don't really want to know.
Dave,
I get where Chris is coming from with Jane McDonald.
One of the songs, Dave.
I get where they're coming. I get where he's coming from. So, Dave
knows he can't sing a Jane McDonald song. She knows it'll go.
No, she hasn't got any songs. She copies everybody else's.
She's a karaoke. She's basically a cabaret singer. But I don't think she does her own songs, does she? She has released albums, but
never.
Anyway.
I'll Google her after.
Guys, we're going to be just looking ahead to Man United now, and then we're going to be doing the last 10 minutes. We're going to do a Q&A. So get your questions ready for Chris and Jason. And it could be anything, football, non-football, doesn't matter what it is. You can ask anything you want.
I'm not taking any questions on Gary Glitter or Jimmy Savile, though, Dave.
Okay, well, you can take the fifth.
This segment's finished now.
You can take the fifth, Chris.
But he will take questions on Philip Schofield.
You can take the fifth, Chris. All right, so look, let's go with you first, Jason. Man United away next week, Sunday night again.
So
when we first came in front of us,
came to the Premier League, the fixtures against Man United and Tottenham are the ones that we used to look forward to. No, they're in and around us, aren't they? I mean, we could to think if you'd have said to us Christmas Day you could finish above West Ham, Man United, and Tottenham, you'd have asked what they've been smoking and drinking. But come on, it's on the cards. And you know what? I don't think, even if we went to Man United, I don't think that's a big scalp. Man United aren't great. Wolves are in form. I'm going for a 1-0 win to Wolves, and I genuinely believe that can happen because just not so much even Man United aren't great. Wolves are in massive, massive form. They're going into these games brimming with confidence, and we've seen what confidence did under Nuno. So they're going to go into this game, and yeah, I think we're going to. I think we're going to beat.
You think we're going to make it 5 in a row? Can anyone tell me if you can tell us the last time we won 5 games in a row in the top division? Obviously, it's got to be before 1972. So if anyone can find that stat out, be interested, because if we do beat United, it's 5 in a row. So Chris and guys, start to put your questions now in the chat, because after this we're going to be doing the Q&A.
I think we can go there and win. I think he'll go there. I mean, obviously, Bellegarde, again, another player that's been changed completely under the manager. Obviously went off, and I think we did lose a little bit for a while when he went off. He's another one. I mean, I have to think at one point, I probably thought Aït-Nouri was a better player than him at one point, which is saying a lot. But I think we can go there and win. I don't think they're particularly a decent team. I think the crowd at Old Trafford are on the team's back a lot.
Yeah.
You know, if we do what we did at the weekend and bang a goal in early, they'll be, on their backs. Anything's possible. I don't think we're going to go and win that 4-0, sadly, and overturn them in the next match and go above them in the league. But I think we can nick a win there, and I think we could. You could be suddenly going to Leicester, looking at could we win 6 games in a row? Which would be amazing.
Absolutely, mate. So, first question for for Jason and Cheerful.
Can I make a couple of points, Dave, very quickly while people are thinking?
Yeah.
First one is the first one's a joke. The second one's very serious. The first point is back to 101. Can we put Sam Smith in there?
You'll have to try another time.
Yeah. Anyway, another point I want to make about, and I'm going to go and try and see him this week, is Phil Parks. So,
oh God, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, Phil Parks, fantastic goalkeeper for Wolves. The Wolves, I believe, I think still he's the Wolves, definitely for a goalkeeper, record consecutive appearance holder. Lovely man, Phillies. I've done loads of Q&As with former players, and I don't want pain. I always pay him, obviously, but I don't want pain. And you know what? He's just a humble man. He's always got time for a story. Well. He's so funny. He genuinely one of life's good guys. He genuinely is one of life's good guys. Now, he had a fall at home, bless him, and he's not in a great way. However, I haven't seen him yet.
In hospital?
He's still in hospital. I haven't seen him yet, so I can't comment too much. But a couple of people, Mel Eves has been to see him. I know John Richards has been to see him. And they said, he looked a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed. So we'll see. But he's just been through a really, really tough time from this fall. So I'm going to go and see him this week. And when I've seen him, obviously I can report back to you guys, because it's, such a shame. Just a freak accident. He fell, bless him. He's late 70s now. He fell, and he's been quite poorly. But so I'm sure you guys at the channel and all the supporters here now will obviously wish him well. But I will keep you in the loop.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because he's a legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of listening to him talk. He's got such a cheeky wit. He's got stories. Brilliant. He's a character. But he'll talk to anyone as well. He's down to earth.
Lovely guy.
So please pass on from.
He's
everyone
probably out of all of them the most humble former player I've ever met. Honestly, such a nice guy, Phillies. Such a nice guy.
On the,
we just got to hope he recovers well, and and I did speak to Jason and you, Dave, didn't I, in the week about it, and
yeah,
when he's out of hospital and we see where he is, we need to see how we can help support him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Jason will give us
absolutely.
updates on that. He might need some equipment or something in his house or things like that. Keep us up to date with that, and please pass on best to the community. Just on the, Terry says 70-71. We won 6 in a row in the top division. So, and then Noah's saying 57-58. He's seen, but I don't know which one's right. So let's go on to the questions. I did see some questions coming up. I don't want to go past them now. Sean O'Keefe wants to know, would you take Jota back in the summer?
Yes.
Well, I'll go first. I'll go on. Go on, Chris, go on.
Yeah, I'd take him back. If he wanted to come to us, I think he would be looking at probably a club bigger than us, to be fair. The kind of player that picks the ball and playing up front alongside Strand Larsen, I think would be, he'd be a good foil on one side of the pitch. We've got to change our front line. I don't mean Strand Larsen, but we've got to change that front line, I think, this year, and change to a different dynamic of forward play.
Well, we do know that apparently Vitor wants a player that was very good in one-on-one situations.
And I'm not sure that Liverpool have actually finished paying for Jota yet. So there could be something in that.
Well,
your thoughts, Jason?
Well, just to obviously go on to the back of Chris, you just want to hope, because they've been obviously looking at and rumoured with Joe Gomez. You just hope that wasn't a deal with him going the other way, because if that was the case, then I'd say no. But if it was just a straight deal to buy Diogo Jota back, I would say yes. And I put this on Twitter the other week, and it really did divide opinion. His injuries, don't look back, and all that. And listen, he's still a very, very, very good player. And on his day, we know he can turn it on and he can turn a game on its head and get you a goal out of nothing. But wages would be an issue, and the player's ambition would clearly be an issue as well. But setting them aside, we don't want to see Jota back in a Wolves shirt. Why wouldn't you want an absolute quality? Yes, I know he's had injury problems, but if you get over there, why wouldn't you want a player of that quality to play for the Wolves again? It's a no-brainer for me.
Fantastic. And when we say never go back, don't forget Doc's come back and he's been doing really well for us.
Yeah. People say, you never go back, and then in the next breath they're going, "Oh, Neves, what's the difference?"
Yeah, I know.
He's a good player.
Here's a good one from Trudy Price. A general question here. Yeah. She's saying who would be your manager of the season? She says, for me, it has to be Nuno. I think there's obviously what's his name, Arnie Klopp or whatever his name, Slot. Has got to be in contention probably. I think Nuno's definitely in contention. I think they would, to me, would be the only two potentials. Obviously, if it had been since December, Vitor Pereira, the job he's done, as a Wolves fan, you'd be like, yeah. But over the season, Chris, who would you go for?
I think there's only one person going to win there, and it's Arnie Slot. I think, Nuno's done a fantastic job, but you've also got a picture where Liverpool were last year when Klopp decided he was going. They weren't particularly doing very well, and this Slot fellow has really pushed that team around and got them to win the league.
Absolutely. Jace?
For me, got to be Russell Martin. Now, honestly, on a serious note, Chris, I get your point completely, and Slot's come in and done a great job, by the way. He really, really has, and they're clearly looking like they're going to win the league. I don't think you can look past Nuno. For the simple reasons is that if you look at the size of the club, if you look at even the squad that he's working with, if you look at the fact that, they haven't been in the top flight, back in the top flight for too long, what a job he's done. he's done everything that we really wanted to see. Well, we saw at Wolves.
Well, he would have took us to the next level if he'd have had the money.
He would have done, but this is the Woody at Forest now, because next season he can't emulate this season, because are they going to break the bank now? There are already rumours of Morgan Gibbs-White leaving for 100 million quid, which, if that's the case, that will be a big, massive loss to Nottingham Forest. But are they in a position to turn down £100 million for any player?
But if you look at Villa, they took 100 million for Grealish and used that money and to actually
absolutely.
Yeah, but 100 million from Gibbs-White isn't 100 million to Forest, because there's an element of it got to come to us for starters. So
yeah.
I genuinely think, for me, the job he's done at Forest is just, look, it's incredible. So for me, it's Nuno.
Fantastic. Quick one here from Pink Panther. If you had a choice, would you have Nuno or Vitor?
I'll say it's too early to say Vitor, because realistically, he's been with us 6 months. Well, probably less than that. He's done 4 months. He's done a brilliant job. But if we're comparing the two on what they've done at Wolves, look at them times under Nuno. It's a no-brainer. But Vitor might go to the next level. Ask us this question in 2 years' time, we might be going, Nuno who?
Well, yeah. Chris?
Difficult, because if I think about Nuno when he came to the club and what the club did, he was given all sorts of riches for the team. Still got to make him play and win the championship as he did. But we were given some decent players. Whereas if you look at Vitor, he's had to take over a very bad, confident side that didn't look like it could buy a win. It was awful.
A group of individuals he took over because they weren't playing as a team, and he's got to play as a team.
I'd say that Vitor's probably had a bigger impact in a short space of time. But I do agree with Jason. You're trying to compare apples with pears at the moment, and we've got to let Vitor have 2 seasons, and I, sadly, my thoughts about Fosun. I'm pretty sure that Vitor's not going to get the kind of investment that Nuno got when he first got here, because I just don't think Fosun are going to do that anymore. So it's going to be difficult for us to compare the two.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point.
That was a great question.
It is a good question. Nuno is always going to be loved by Wolves fans. He's always going to be welcoming Wolverhampton for what he did. The way he was probably let down at the end when he went, and the fact that he said it is farewell but not goodbye. It's always going to resonate, and it sticks in our throat, doesn't it? In a way that he's over the other side of the Midlands. And it's like, this is what you could have had, like a bit of bully. This is what we could have had he, had COVID not hit, had he. And
do you know what, Dave? What a job! What he could have done at Spurs as well. Because you look at Spurs, the mess they're in. Why? Because get managers in and get rid of them, get them in and get rid of them, and it's a poison chalice. And who's the problem at that football club? We know who has been the problem at our football club. The board and the chairman, and that Levy just runs it the way he does, and then everyone else gets the blame, and I'll get a new manager in. That's not the answer. It's not the answer. If they'd have stuck with Nuno and invested properly, I believe they'd have been having this success now. But you've got to.
I think we'd have been well established.
100%.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And what's happened since? You've seen Bournemouth, Brighton, Villa, Forest, all of them go past us. But sometimes, lessons have to be learned, and I think that's the asking question. There's a question here which I think is very apt as we're talking about it. Alex McDonald wants to know, if we sell Cunha and Nuru, will Fosun give Vitor 100 million to spend in the summer?
I think I can answer that in one word. And it's got
no?
There's no way. look, there's no way. There's just no way.
Well, 23 million's already going on, already going anyway. But my understanding also, we've talked about this, that Wolves do have a £60 million dropping off in the 3-year cycle of the FFP. So Wolves will be in a strong financial position this summer. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do spend more money. I'm not saying we're going to spend 100 million, but they don't necessarily have to spend 100 million. What you have to do is spend it well. We've looked at Agbadou coming in, Munetsi that's come in, Strand Larsen, 20-odd million. You know, you look at Andre and Gomez, how much we bought them. You can get really good players. But obviously, forwards are really, really important. There, you know, you can have a good defence and a good midfield. You've got to put the ball in the back of the underneck, and you've got to be able to provide the assist. So I'm hopeful that, and because I always look glass half full, I am hoping that they really have got their plan for the summer and they know what they're going to be doing and they're going to go for it. But I do think they want a quick sale with Cunha because, Chris, is it right to say that they've moved the accounting period back to the end of June?
Yeah.
What do you make
I don't think they've done it because they're in. If I look at where we were financially this year, then, you know, the picture was reasonably good. If it was last year, you'd be arguing, because I'm pretty cynical, that they've moved it back so they get extra revenue, season ticket money in, so their losses are minimised in a year. But I don't think they've done that. I think this is just bringing them in line with the rest of most of the Premier League, to be fair.
Most Premier League clubs, it does run till June. I also think it might have been moved up because the Cunha money, if they want to get a quick sale, they want it to happen in June.
Okay, maybe.
But, and they won't sell him in May, so it's like giving themselves a little bit more period as well.
I actually don't think if we did sell those two, we'd get 100 million. The word from John Percy out was that whilst there's money to spend this summer, don't expect any major signings. But, you know, a major signing now is 40, 50 million, isn't it? You know, I wouldn't call a 20 million pound player a major signing anymore.
No.
So you know, I reckon out of that 100 million, we should be, you know, we'll probably be, you know, we should be pleased if they spend 60.
Yeah, because I mean, you're always going to keep stuff back for the January window anyway, because like you need to do all of that. So, final question of the night. This is from Mr. Carl for the panel. Who would be your marquee signing for the club if money was no object? Jason, you can go first on this one.
I would go for obviously money no object. You know, when he comes to the club, obviously this is all pie in the sky. I think Mo Salah for me. I just think he's such a good player, such a clever player. Got so much to his game. So for me, it'd be Mo Salah.
Mo Salah, okay, that's a good shout. Chris?
Funny enough, that's my answer as well. I if I wanted to sign anybody for our team now, it'd be someone in that front three and somebody on that side of Strand Larsen. Yeah, he's got to be him all day long.
Or to get the fans really going, it'd be Neves, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, Neves. Everyone loves Neves. Final question from me to finish off on.
I'll ask you a question. I was going to ask you a dead quick question, a yes or no answer. Would you sell Gomez for Neves? Dave?
No.
Chris? All right then. Oh, don't.
Would you?
Actually,
right now, I don't think I would. I genuinely don't think I would.
No. There's such an age difference. The age difference, for one. I mean, crikey, you know,
it's a good question. I mean, I'd love Neves back because of his authority, but right now, Gomez and Andre are just working.
And I did find, it's going to sound really bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I did find when Neves was playing our midfield, we were very slow moving the ball about.
He was playing
look at what
he played at the centre back at one point, didn't he?
Look at how them two Brazilians with the ball. But
yeah,
you look at
what about that, Dave?
You look how the two Brazilians are popping the ball about now.
Oh yeah,
we went.
That's the thing. These two, they're almost come as a pair, don't they? And you don't want to break that partnership. And I think as Neves, as much as he could add to the club, and he could bring so much on and off the pitch and whatever. And would we want to break up this pair for anyone? No. And that's why when we've gone for the marquee signing, we've just gone straight for a striker.
Yeah, the strike, putting the ball in the back. I think defensively, midfield wise, because we have got some not behind behind Andre and Gomez. We've still got some good midfielders and people from doing that as well. So it's the forward line. I mean, last year it was the defence. We could all see it before the start of the season.
Yeah,
we were all like worrying about it, and it came to pass. So they can't make the same mistake again. It's like, make sure we've got. It's not about the first 11. It's about the squad. If we have a good first 11 and then we've got a good squad depth as well, we can be in for a very, very good season. But we'll talk about this.
I have just thought of another one, if I couldn't get, maybe because Jason said it, I'll pick another one. I'd swap Manetti for Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, yeah, I think we'd all do that, to be fair, yeah. Although I do like Manetti since he's come. Yeah. He plays with enthusiasm. That's what I like about Totti.
Not knocking him. I'm just saying that was going to upgrade.
I thought we
can give you an exclusive because we do know that Kevin De Bruyne is leaving Manchester City and joining Wolverhampton. Yeah, no. But yeah, it'd be a good show.
I thought you were going back
San Diego, apparently.
Then, Chris.
Say again?
I thought you was going back to room 101 then.
No.
Final question for both of you. 6 games to go. We've currently moved up, albeit on goal difference, to 16th. We've been in the bottom 4 all season. What is our final finishing position going to be? And don't forget, it's £2.5 million a place. Jason.
I will go for, because a lot of the teams in our position, Tottenham, Man United, they're going to win another couple of 3 games, you'd imagine. And they're going to be thinking the same. And it's probably more important for them to finish higher anyway, in my opinion. A team like Man United, realistically. But if we can get 16th position at the end of the season from where we was in November and December, you would say that is a massive achievement. So listen, if we can get to 15th, brilliant. But listen, I don't know what's the it'd be too difficult to work out with all the permutations, but mathematically I don't know where's the highest we could finish, but 16th.
13th.
Okay. Okay.
Let's 13th. I do believe. Let's just bring up the table now quickly. I'll just put it on the screen very, very quickly because it's a very, very good question that you asked there, Jason.
Good questions.
Let's just have a look. So if we look at the table at the moment, so realistic. Well, we can. I mean, you could still finish really as high as the 11th. It's unlikely, but if you look at Everton, they're on 38 points. We're on 35.
Yeah. I reckon we could finish 14th.
14th?
Yeah.
14th.
We've got Man United to play. We've all just said we can go there and win. That brings them into it. You've got Leicester at home the next game.
Now I've looked at the table. I'm thinking 14th. Now I've actually just looked at the table. I'm thinking.
Did you
14th.
think the gap was bigger? Did you think the gap was bigger, Jay?
I did actually, yeah. I did. I mean, I've been keeping a close eye on the table. Obviously not close enough, but
we're literally 3 points off 13th.
Well, listen, there's still
Our
6
goal
games to go.
difference is
There's a few points to
inferior.
get there. There's a few points to get there.
Yeah, so who's to say? I have a feeling we'll end up about 5th, might end up 15th. But if we end up finishing 14th like last year, it would be unbelievable. Anything I think Pereira is setting this team a task of finishing as high as possible.
If you look, I think we've got to play Man United, Crystal Palace, haven't we? Brentford, Brighton.
I don't know if have we got Brighton again.
Palace, Darren,
Leicester,
Palace and Brentford.
Look at the teams; they're all in that bottom from 13 downwards.
Out of them 6 games that are left, you've got to be looking at between 7 and 10 points minimum, haven't you?
Yeah,
a minimum.
Well, yes, I mean, it has squeezed up. If you think about it, when all the teams escaped from the bottom, there was 6. Palace went on a run, West Ham went on a run, Everton went on a run, and now we've gone on a run, and it's all constituted up again. And at the same time, United and Spurs have been doing all their stuff, and so I mean, I think it's just we're the team in form at the moment, but. If you think of how we finished last season under Gary O'Neill, how we basically just imploded, and that momentum in the end, even it was a difficult start to the season, but that momentum carried on into the start of this season. If we finish with a good, strong momentum at the end of this season, they can take that into the start of next season. So for Pereira, I think he'll be just thinking, and also £2.5 million a place. If we get up from 17th to 13th, that's 10 million.
Dave, when we had a bad season, I think early on under Nuno and Lager come in, we had a bit of a good run early on, and then it all went wrong. And the next season we didn't have any momentum. Then that happened. Then Lopetegui got playing okay and walked away or whatever. And Gary O'Neill, I think, reaped the benefit of that because that momentum carried him on in his first season with us. Then of course we carried over the momentum this year of what was going on last year, and this is the first time I think we're going to have a manager that's stayed with us, that touch wood, I hope he doesn't go anywhere, that stays with us, that has got momentum carried over from the previous season. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do in the summer and move us on.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. And on that point, there's going to be lots
of... We didn't say this about Gary O'Neill, by the way.
Yeah, there's going to be loads to
pre-season.
So much to talk about over the next few months, of course. But I'm enjoying the football at the moment. Looking forward to going to the matches. We've got a team that we can get behind. We've got a manager that we can get behind. If everything can line up and then the board can do what they need to do with it as well, I feel positive for going forward for next season. But I think the big question is the summer, and they've got to get it right this year. They've got to get it right and not try and scrimp and save. If Vitor Pereira gets us up 2 or 3 places, he should be able to say, well, hold on a minute. The best you were hoping for was 17th. I've got you to 16th, 15th, 14th, whatever. Use that money because it's extra money. Anyway, guys, thank you ever so much for joining us in the chat. We're just coming up to just over an hour and 50 minutes. We've had so many of you join us. I know loads more will watch it back on Catch Up. It'll also be out on the Always Wolves podcast as well. I hope you've enjoyed it. Some really, really good debate, discussion with Jason and Chris. Thank you guys for joining us tonight as well. Much appreciated, Jason and Chris.
Gary Glitter.
No problem.
Until the next one, everyone, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.
Always Wolves.